3, 2, 1. Hello, hello, hello! Eu sou o Cleydson Barbosa e você, seja muito bem-vindo, seja muito bem-vinda a mais uma transmissão ao vivo aqui, direto do perfil do Instagram do Meu Clube do Inglês! Aê, aê! E se você está assistindo isso aqui em algum lugar, então, por favor, não repare aqui no meu chapeuzinho. Eu já expliquei na outra transmissão por que eu estou usando esse chapeuzinho aqui e tal. E vamos fazer o seguinte. Eu já fiz uma live só pra explicar tudo. Então, agora nós vamos ter mais uma transmissão. Isso aqui eu espero que eu consiga colocar no YouTube, né? Graças a o professor Jader aí do podcast Inglês do Zero, que tem o perfil no Instagram, o Pra Inglês Ver. A gente trocou uma ideia e tal, então eu acredito que seja bem possível. Se você está vendo no YouTube, comenta aí, eu estou vendo do YouTube. Se você não está participando ao vivo com a gente, então é só você seguir o perfil do Instagram do Meu Clube do Inglês. É Meu Clube do Inglês, tudo junto, sem acento. E aí você vai poder participar fazendo perguntas, comentários e todos os etc. Ok? Então vamos lá, senhoras e senhores, ladies and gentlemen, é com muito orgulho que eu apresento agora para todos vocês, ao vivo, numa transmissão internacional, ela, aqui com você. Essa demora todinha porque eu estou fazendo a solicitação. Ela, Alyssa Zantello!
Boa noite.
Boa noite, Alyssa, tudo bem?
Tudo, graças a Deus.
Então, você pode se apresentar mais uma vez, porque pela primeira vez, você pode se apresentar mais uma vez?
Porque a internet está
Eu falei, né?
meia ruim
Na outra
agora.
transmissão eu expliquei. Alyssa,
Estou aqui,
consegue me ouvir?
estou. O
Ah, ótimo.
internet está
E você pode
meia ruim
falar mais uma.
agora. Claro.
A minha também não está muito boa. Mas para as pessoas que ainda não conhecem você, você pode falar um pouco quem é você e como a gente pode encontrar você?
O meu nome é Alyssa e pode me encontrar pela Instagram, que está em cima, ou no Facebook. Ah, eu sou americana, mas meu coração está brasileira. Eu amo o Brasil e as pessoas lá, mas eu sou americana e agora estou em Nova York, ah, trabalhando num hospital para ajudar com a crise de Covid.
Ok, ok. Então, no começo deu só uma falhazinha, mas a Alyssa, a gente no Brasil chama de Alyssa, o nome dela é Alyssa Zantello, e ela já é uma pessoa presente aqui nas nossas transmissões, um collab que a gente sempre faz. Ela é americana, ela vem sempre no Brasil, a gente já se conhece há mais de 10 anos, né? E a gente está fazendo essa transmissão que hoje é dia de folga dela. E ela está em Nova York trabalhando arduamente aí num hospital, ajudando pessoas a, né, poder passar por essa fase aí do Covid-19. Ok, Alyssa, então a gente pode falar um pouco inglês agora, certo?
Certo, let's go.
Okay, so can you tell us where you are, what you are doing more specifically?
Sure, so I'm originally from Michigan, but I got on an airplane and flew to New York City, and I'm doing a temporary work assignment here because New York City is really struggling with the coronavirus crisis. So I'm working at a hospital here in New York City with a bunch of other people from around the country who came to help. Right now I'm working in an emergency room. We call it the emergency department or emergency room. And so I'll be here for another few weeks.
Okay, okay. I I hope that people can hear us well.
Okay.
You know, many people are not right now here, but they're going to access that later. So if
Hmm.
you guys are listening and you can hear it, so please let us know if
Hmm.
you can hear properly. So Alyssa, and what is your profession? How did you end up there where you are?
Yeah. So my profession, it's called physician assistant. It's always a little difficult to talk to Brazilians about this because my profession doesn't exist there. Um, so there's not a good translation
I'm sorry.
for my job. So basically, I'm trained as a healthcare professional, and my job is to diagnose and treat patients and provide medical care for them. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but my job is to help people. It's just a little difficult to explain because it doesn't exist in Brazil. But I typically work in an orthopedic setting back home, but due to coronavirus, my office is shut down. So I took this temporary assignment to work in emergency medicine.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I think the internet here is not
Oh, okay. Sorry
quite
about
good,
that.
but so you are now in New York
Hmm.
and you were like in Brazil we say in the eye of the hurricane, right? Do
Exactly.
you have this
Yeah.
expression?
Yeah. We would say in the middle of the storm.
Oops.
Oh no. Can you hear me?
It's
Mm.
not so good. So even my my translation is getting paused. I think I'm going to use my mobile here. I'll call you in a minute. Ok, guys. Eu estou falando com a Alyssa aqui em inglês, né? A gente já conversou muito em português, um pouco em inglês com a gente. E o que eu estou tentando fazer agora é tirar o trabalho. E vai melhorar, tá bom? E você aproveita e diz pra gente. Hello!
Hi.
Oh, it feels so much better now.
Oh, good.
So, okay, so what were you saying? So you were saying that your profession is a little bit difficult to explain for Brazilians, right? Can you get
Yeah,
back to that again? Because we
sure.
were freezing.
Gotcha. Just let me know if it's starting to cut out again. But
Okay.
basically, my profession is called physician assistant, but that position doesn't exist in Brazil, so it's a little bit difficult to explain. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. My job really is to provide medical care for patients. So I see a patient, I diagnose them, I examine them, I can prescribe medications for them, order tests and interpret tests, and I work as a teammate to a doctor.
So you work like you are the sidekick of the doctor, the nurse, right?
Kind of. It's a little difficult to explain. I guess you'd kind of have to see it in action. Um, we're basically an extension of a physician. We get to do a lot of the same things as they do, but we're not doctors. I have a lot of respect for
Mm-hmm.
doctors. They go to a lot more school than we do, and so they definitely deserve that title. So I wouldn't want to take that from them, but we help make healthcare accessible to people.
Okay, that's good because I know that I can't translate that here, but it's a strategic
Hmm.
goal, right? Because some people are graduated in as a nurse, for
Hmm.
example, and they don't normally like to be called almost doctors.
Yeah.
So I know your position is
Hmm.
not exactly almost anything. You have
Yeah.
a certain part of
Hmm.
the work there, but and how did you end up there again, please?
In New York City.
Yeah.
So I normally work in orthopedic surgery back home in Michigan, but since the coronavirus crisis has caused so much trouble here, my office is mostly shut down and we can't see many patients at all. So instead of sitting at home doing nothing and not working, I took a temporary job in New York because they desperately needed help. So now I'm working in the emergency room in New York City.
So is it your first time in New York?
Second time, but my first time was about 10 years ago, and it's much, 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 much different now because of coronavirus than it was 10 years ago.
It might be sad, isn't
It's
it?
quite sad. It's very different. I mean, the whole city is nearly shut down.
And what is the difference from someone who already has been to New York City and now what can you tell people what it used to be now and then?
So New York City is known for being what we call hustle and bustle, meaning it's just very busy, constantly full of people, traffic everywhere, cars honking their horns, buses, subways, streets packed with people, restaurants are busy. And now, because of the coronavirus crisis, everything is closed. So you can walk in the middle of the street and not see any cars. And normally it's cars are bumper to bumper. Um, Normally, if you go to the park in the middle of the city, it's crowded with people. And today I went there and there was almost nobody there. Restaurants are shut down, all the businesses are shut down. It's just very bizarre. It almost feels like do you guys watch The Walking Dead? Are you familiar with that
No.
show? It almost feels like Zombieland.
Many people are comparing that to zombie apocalypse, right?
Hmm.
And what about inside the hospital? What can you tell us about that?
So normally hospitals here have different floors for different purposes. Like one floor would be an ICU, an intensive care unit. Another floor would be for labor and delivery for pregnant mothers who are giving birth to their children. They'll have another floor for cardiac care or like people with heart problems. But all of that's changed because there were so many people sick with coronavirus. They quite literally turned the whole hospital, every floor, into an intensive care unit or ICU. And then the emergency room got turned into basically a coronavirus triage sort of thing where we did emergency care there. So it's kind of bizarre. The hospital is just full of coronavirus patients, pretty much.
Okay, I'm just going to answer a question
Yeah,
here. Actually, as we already said that in English, so would you mind telling that in Portuguese now for people who are getting here now?
sure. To answer the question, where is she from?
Yeah, yeah. We
Sure.
may say that in Portuguese.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe we may answer other questions. Guys,
Yeah.
can you follow up? If you have any questions or any comments, please just let us know, and Alice is going to answer this first one. Please go ahead.
Eu sou a Alyssa e eu sou americana. Eu moro em um estado chamado Michigan e a cidade é chamada Detroit.
E onde você está agora?
Agora estou em Nova York fazendo um trabalho no hospital aqui em Nova York.
Ok, então quem estiver por aí e quiser fazer qualquer pergunta, pode ser sobre como ela está lidando com essa epidemia, pode ser com Estados Unidos, sobre o que ela souber que estiver acontecendo, e pode ser também sobre Nova York ou sobre onde ela mora ou qualquer coisa do tipo, certo? Ok?
Uhum.
Okay. So, Alyssa,
Uhum.
and um, have you heard any comments like that? This is all an invention. That this is not true, and that you were you were lying to people. Have you heard any of that stuff?
I've heard rumors about it, but so far I haven't met anybody who doesn't believe this is real. But I've heard that there are people who say this is all a hoax. I can tell you that it's not a hoax. There are people that are dying in the hospital every day because this disease is terrible and it's very hard to understand and very hard to treat. We're still trying to learn about it. Um, and in New York, the hospitals became overwhelmed and there were too many sick people all at once. So it's very real. I don't know how else to prove that it's real other than saying I've seen it firsthand, and every day I diagnose patients with coronavirus, and they're having a hard time breathing, and they're sick, and some of them are that way, and some of them are only mildly sick and can go home, and some people get very sick and die. It's kind of terrible. So.
Yeah, this is being like a politicians' war, especially here in Brazil, because
Mhm.
some people deny it, some people, some people think this is not that serious,
Mhm.
and I don't want to bring, I don't want to be here to be for or against politicians, right?
Mhm.
But what would you tell people who don't take it as seriously as you believe that is because you
Yeah.
were witnessing that?
I'd say if you don't take it seriously, you just have to understand the risk that you're taking. Um, if you don't take it seriously, maybe you'll be okay. Maybe you won't get sick, but maybe you will get sick, and maybe you'll get really sick, and maybe you'll really need help from the healthcare system. And I just hope that the healthcare system isn't overwhelmed when you happen to get sick. So if you don't think it's real, I mean, that's your choice, but you have to understand you're taking a big risk.
Yeah, and you're putting other people in risk as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm with you. I don't want to make this about politics at all, but I mean, my purpose here is just to help people. I don't care what politician you support. I just want to help people get better and not be sick.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
uh, I I used to stand more strongly with some things that could be controversial, but
Hmm.
especially these days, I am trying to be more,
Hmm.
I'm trying more because what usually happens is that if you are if you are too strong on something, so some people will be with you, but people who already share this opinion, and
Hmm.
some people who doesn't just go away. You chase people away. So
Hmm.
I believe the best way is dialogue, trying not
Hmm.
to put things as opinions, trying just to bring facts and help people to
Yeah.
learn that by themselves. And we have another question here. It's so
Yeah.
interesting about the political process to adapt to coronavirus, really. What do you think about the political action? Are there some fails? Okay, oh, before you say anything, I'm going just to tell, not you, Alyssa, but
Hmm.
for anyone here or anyone who's listening to it, or if by a miracle I can put that somewhere else. So guys, we are going to be true here. We're going to be as true as possible, but we're just trying to be aware to take some to be careful because some ways we say things can be interpreted as we are against who thinks differently, but no, we are just saying some things here. For example, I have given opinions. I am saying some things that comes from my mind, like, I used to be more strong, now I'm trying to be more, I'm trying to be more careful. And that is why, because if I say, for example, that one politician is not being fair, so before I can try to explain that, many people are already calling me by names that I would not really stand for. Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry for that long disclaimer.
That's
So
okay.
if you want to speak anything, be free to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. It's a good question, but I'll be careful in answering it also. Um, we have a phrase in English where we say hindsight is 2020. Have you heard this phrase before?
No.
So, I'll explain the phrase, then I'll answer the question. 2020 is basically your vision. So if you have good vision, perfect vision, we call it 2020. You could look up why, but 2020 means you have perfect vision. So the phrase hindsight is 2020 means anytime you look back on something, you could see perfectly how things should have been, could have been, would have been, that sort of thing, because the event is already past. So it's easy to go back and critique what already happened. So I think that that's probably going to be the case with coronavirus, that maybe we'll look back and say, oh, politicians should have done this or should have done that or could have done this or could have done that differently. But my hope is that for present tense, for right now, for the here and now, that my hope is that our politicians are doing the best they can to protect the American people. Um, I don't have a whole lot of opinions, strong opinions on specific matters, because again, I want to be careful about that. But my hope is just that the protection of American people is at heart, for my country at least. And I hope in Brazil that it's the same. I hope that the politicians are looking to protect Brazilians as well. So.
Yeah, and sorry guys if we look or if we sound too slippery, but that's because she is speaking as someone who is dealing with that directly, and another live that she was she was hosting. So she said that if anyone has any questions, so they can go directly to her to ask her,
Sure.
right?
And I'm
And
with you. I like having good dialogue about things, and having conversations, I think, can be helpful to understanding different opinions. So there's good things and bad things just about anywhere you go, and
yes, and
with just about anything that happens, right?
even if you agree or not, whether if you believe something or not, the more you know about it, it makes you have even wiser perspectives about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So, for example, she and I, we are both Christians,
Mhm.
and we met as missionaries
Mhm.
doing social work, but it doesn't make me not not look for facts or science. She and I, we are very into scientific facts. It doesn't mean that if anything is given as fact, that actually is, you have to look for the sources to see who is supporting that. But just think about that.
Mhm.
Science is not about approving anything. That's the opposite. Science is denying. And if science denies something, it doesn't mean that is right or wrong.
Mhm.
Science is not supposed to tell us why.
Mhm.
No, it's just tell us how. It doesn't tell us why.
Mhm.
So even though I am I am very skeptical, I have my faith because I don't want to to science to prove that I am right, or I don't want to disbelieve just because science doesn't give me the the green check.
Yeah.
And we have another question here, so you may say anything about what I said and about this question here. the people in New York are respect the okay. Are people in New York respecting the quarantine?
Yes, pretty much. Some days are better than others. It's been quite a while. I don't remember how long it's been that we've been quarantined, but I think it's been probably close to a month for New York. Um, so some people are getting antsy where they need to go out and do things, but the city is shut down pretty well. The city of New York is very big, so there are a lot of different areas where people live in different boroughs. For example, there's Manhattan, there's Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, that sort of thing. So different areas are doing better or worse with the quarantine, I suppose. But I think there's a lot of factors that play into it too. There's a lot of homelessness in New York, so it's hard to stay in if you don't have a home to stay in. Um, it's hard to live at a shelter when the shelter is full of coronavirus. So how do you stay quarantined if you live on the streets, right? Um, so sorry to get back to the question. I think they're doing pretty well, trying very hard to respect the quarantine, but every day is a little different. Sometimes there are people out in the streets and sometimes the streets are empty.
Okay, and we have Rafael is saying, "Oi, Alyssa,"
Uh,
and Alyssa, what would you say about because it sometimes when we speak about some things, it brings a lot of other discussions, but
yeah.
how can you still remain being a Christian and
Hmm.
involved with missionary works if if you're dealing with science and stuff?
Oh, sure. Um, well, I think that's where my faith can be made even more firm because I think there's a lot of things in science that confirm my faith, right? And just like you said, I'm not afraid to ask questions because I believe that God is big enough to stand up to the questions that I have, and that if my faith truly is what I say it is, then science will point me back to God. So, um, does that kind of answer the question you were asking, or did I get off track? Sorry.
No, no, you said so. You brought another perspective to it, you
Hmm.
know, because some people do really find
Hmm.
in science things that can confirm their faith in
Hmm.
a way that, hey, science supports that, and other people is like, okay, if science supported my faith, that would actually kill it because that wouldn't be a faith. That
Hmm.
would be just knowing. And Rafa is asking a question for you. So would you like to answer that in Portuguese now? Because as we that
Sure. Oi, Rafa. Eu, o meu trabalho é difícil de explicar porque o meu trabalho não existe em Brasil. Eu não sou médica mesmo, mas eu ainda não, também eu não sou enfermeira. Eu sou physician assistant, é um trabalho que não existe lá, mas eu faço muitas coisas igual a uma médica, mas eu não sou médica. Talvez você pode explicar melhor?
ok. É que eu não sei honestamente se existe isso no Brasil ou se a gente não encontrou uma terminologia, uma nomenclatura apropriada, mas na formação da Alessa, ela tem uma formação na área de saúde para fazer um serviço em conjunto com o médico, mas ela não é uma médica, ela também não é uma enfermeira, né? O médico, ele vai atender diretamente alguma coisa e ele vai tratar diretamente aquilo. Os enfermeiros, normalmente, eles vão dar suporte ao atendimento, aos procedimentos. E a parte da Alessa é para que entre os procedimentos o, e o ato do médico, tudo esteja Então, se alguém conhecer alguma terminologia boa aqui no Brasil, por favor, me diga, porque eu também não sou da área de saúde, até tentei, mas eu não tenho talento para isso, não. Ah, a Luz Negra está perguntando: some graphics they talk about black people are 57% of the hardest cases of coronavirus. What do you think about it?
Hmm. I haven't seen that graphic yet,
Oh,
so I.
Alyssa, sorry, you're
Oh,
mute. I'm bringing you again. Okay, I wish I could do that before I talked in Portuguese because that would be the time that we would have to bring you back here. Okay, now I can hear you.
okay. Um, I haven't seen that graphic yet, and I don't know the stats at the hospital I'm at, so unfortunately, I don't know if that graphic is true or not. I'm sorry.
And we have hello, Julio. Julio is saying boa noite, amigão. And Rafael is
Mhm.
saying ah tá, porque você posta fotos com máscaras no hospital e o pastor Josué pediu oração por você. Aí fiquei curioso, mas entendi sim.
Obrigada, Rafael. Eu sou grato por suas orações.
And Alyssa, as you were into it, but you're so deep that you cannot be following what's going on around the world as someone who's at home just Netflix and chilling.
Yeah,
So, and how do you deal with that? You were too deep, you
yeah.
know, but at the same time,
Mhm.
you cannot be as aware of what's going around, and you're probably people are probably asking some things to
Mhm.
you that you don't
Yeah.
even have information. What how do you deal with that?
So I'm trying to make my focus on um, staying up to date with treatment options so I can make the best medical decisions for patients and learn more about how coronavirus affects the body. So typically, when I'm doing research, like at night when I get home, it's more on treatment, not as much on the demographics. And I'm not looking at as much of like what percentage of people this or that. It's more, hey, what medications can we use? What new strategies can we implement? And that sort of thing. So it's a little bit of a shift in um, research. I'm less interested in finding out like actual numbers of cases and deaths and more interested in learning about effective treatment.
Okay, and that's something important for you to help people who are there or still aren't, right? And
Yeah,
how long are you in the hospital? I mean, daily. And
sure.
how is it?
Yeah.
How do you
So I
do?
work for 12 hours a day. Um,
Wow.
yeah, 6 or 7 days a week. It depends on the week. Um, I was lucky to have a day off today to relax. Um, but basically, I get there at 7 in the morning and then start seeing patients and leave at 7 o'clock at night. Take a bus back to the hotel that we're staying at, then have to get dinner and shower and do laundry and that sort of thing, and then wake up at 5 in the morning the next day to do it all over again. So I've
And
been, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, please.
I've been here almost 3 weeks, and I'm planning to stay another 2 to 3 weeks if possible. So I'm tired,
And
but I'm really happy to be here.
oh, and we're happy that you're helping people because
Yeah.
we always hear about New York as you know a place who really needs help.
Yeah.
In Brazil, we have a lot, but it's not as explosive as it was or it has been in New York.
Yeah.
And how do you keep your own health, your
Hmm.
mental health,
Yeah.
your biological health?
Mhm.
How do you do that?
I'm really fortunate that the hospital I'm at is providing us with good protective equipment. So every day when I go to the hospital, I wear a mask called an N95 mask, and that's a special mask that filters out 95% of tiny little particles. It's very a strong protective mask. Then I wear another mask on top of that. I wear a surgical cap to cover my head. I put on another pair of disposable shirt and pants to cover up my scrubs or my hospital clothes. I put on shoe covers. Then I put a gown on over all of that so that I'm completely covered head to toe. And I put on glasses too, protective glasses. Um, so that's how I'm protecting my physical health. I'm also trying to make sure that I drink some water and try to eat something relatively healthy. Um, try to do a little bit of walking if I can for my physical health, and try to go to sleep fairly early if possible. For my mental health, I am really fortunate that there are a lot of other people here helping as well, a lot of other healthcare professionals. So we take some time in the evening to decompress and talk about our day if needed. For my mental health, also, I'm really fortunate that my family and friends are very supportive. So if I need anything, I can talk to them. And people like you who have offered on multiple occasions, hey, if you need to talk, I'm here to listen. And people are praying for me and constantly sending messages of encouragement. So that really helps. Um, I've cried because things are overwhelming, but sometimes crying helps to just relieve some of the stress you're feeling. Um, Try to, make sure to stay in contact with family, just to kind of keep my sanity and keep my mind doing okay. So that's some of the things I'm trying to do to take care of myself.
Yes, and that's good that you're taking care of
Hmm.
yourself. I think that it might be difficult for us who feel trapped at home.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I always think that guys just stay home because you think
Hmm.
that's hard, but some people are out and they wish they could be home and they wish everyone could stay home. So I made a huge mistake. I didn't set the alarm again, so I don't know for how long we're doing that. So anytime it might shut down. But what would you tell people, people who are not in the hospital?
Um, Encouragement really helps. So if you have a friend or a family member who's a healthcare worker who has to be at the hospital, just send them a text message or a Facebook message and just let them know that you're thinking about them, because it doesn't seem like much and it may seem insignificant, but to me it means a lot. When somebody says, "Hey, I thought about you today," it's really encouraging. And I'm sure it's hard to sit at home and feel like you're helpless, but what you said is exactly right. Stay home because that helps us be able to come home sooner.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think I couldn't add anything about that. Yeah, that's something I think it's going to help me tell
Hmm.
people. If people
Yeah,
stay home, people who can't can be home sooner, right?
yeah, exactly.
So, do you have anything else you want to share? Anything that you want to tell people? I'm just trying to
Yeah,
be prepared because
sure.
if that shuts down, we have the
Yeah.
opportunity to.
There is something beautiful that I've seen. It kind of seems like in times of our deepest struggles and in difficult situations, that's a really good opportunity for humanity to come together. So I've seen tremendous support here in New York City specifically, but even around the country where people are just trying to come together and help each other. Um, Here in the hotel I'm staying at, for example, we have about 800 healthcare workers staying at this hotel. So
Wow.
we're all trying to be there for each other. If somebody's laundry got lost, we're offering to lend them a pair of our clothes. If somebody needs some food, we'll share ours. The fire department here has been doing like a parade type of thing where they put their lights and sirens on to say thank you. We have Uber drivers who are helping us get around and they're saying, "Hey, thanks for being here." And we're saying, "Hey, thanks for taking us where we need to go." Um, Restaurant workers who are staying open so that we can have food to eat. Um, People saying thanks on the streets when they see you in your hospital clothes. So even though it's a really challenging and trying time, I can see a really nice glimmer of hope that humanity cares about each other and that people just want to help each other. So that's really encouraging too.
Okay, Alyssa, thank you so much. I would want to have you for longer, or even tell you, hey, I'm going to start another live and set the alarm, but I know you need
Thank you.
some relaxing, you need some calm, you need some resting. And I thank you so much for being here once again. At least this time I'm going to have, if God wills, a whole recording of us talking, and I'm going to share that for as many
Yeah.
people as I can.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really nice to share about my experience here.
And thank you so much.
Mhm.
Guys, if you want to see anything about what Alyssa is saying, she always shows that on her Instagram account. So can you tell us again how
Yeah.
to be in touch with you?
Sure. So my Instagram should be up top, but it's Alyssa Zantello. That's my Instagram. So that's where you can find me. I try to post stories, hopefully every day if I can, about my time here. So.
Okay, Lisa, once again, thank you so much. Now you get some rest,
All right. Thank you.
and thank you for your work.
Talk to you later.
Talk to
Tchauzinho.
you later. Bye bye. Thank you, guys. See you later.